So here Paul faces pagan courts, false accusations, political corruption. But one of the striking things about the text is that Paul, instead of being consumed by wrath on the one hand, instead of being consumed by bitterness or being consumed by despair and sorrow and hurt, he here speaks with poise and courage. He has a really remarkable amount of peace. And in fact, at one key moment in this text, in this episode, Paul is the one on trial. Paul is the accused one. Paul is the one who potentially is being accused of something the Jews say deserves death. So his life is potentially on the line, but not only that, but of course the reputation of the church, the reputation of apostles, this fledgling movement. And in this moment when Paul is the accused one, Paul is on trial, there he is. He's called in. Felix calls him in. His wife is there and says, tell us about this faith in Christ again. And Paul begins preaching. It says he's preaching about righteousness and temperance and the judgment to come. And the text really remarkably says, and Felix trembled and dismissed him. You know, this moment, if you just sort of squint your eyes slightly, it's like, wait, who's on trial exactly? Paul's the one that should be trembling, and he's not. And Felix, he's got, the power of the Roman Empire behind him, and he's trembling. Who's on trial exactly? The doctrine of justification by faith is the Christian doctrine of peace and joy and courage. The doctrine of justification is what allows Christians to sleep at night when it doesn't make sense. The doctrine of justification by faith is what allows Christians to face false accusations, to face great trouble with peace in their heart, even with a grin. The doctrine of justification by faith means that in the face of accusation and trouble, we already have the final judgment. That's what justification by faith means. It means that you know the final judgment. You know the end of the story. You may not know the middle part, but you know the end. You already have the final judgment, the true verdict. You know that in Christ you have full acceptance, full vindication brought into the present. The just live by faith. The just live by faith. Faith in God's justice, faith in God's full justification, God's vindication. Apart from this justification, the final judgment is fearful, and so is every other trouble.